This is not a problem. Nor is this. These are characters you will never see when actually learning or experiencing Japanese, except for the context in which we are talking about them right now. Look how difficult kanji are. Look how many strokes there are. I could never learn Japanese. No, this is not the reason you can't learn Japanese. Now don't get me wrong. There are 100 reasons you probably won't, not can't, but won't learn Japanese, but this is not one of them. Today we'll be going down this Kanji Iceberg that I made based on my real personal experiences learning Japanese. We will find out together what kanji are and what kind of problems they actually have. As all icebergs go, the deeper we descend, the more obscure or well understood the information will be. Also, although I have made my peace with the existence of kanji, I'll be channeling all of my pent-up rage towards kanji. Consider this an edu rant. For the sake of clarity and transparency, when appropriate, I'll also be displaying the following frequency and frustration meters so you can get an idea of not only how annoying I find specific aspects of kanji, but how likely you are to encounter any given situation on your Japanese learning journey. With that out of the way, let's begin. The basics. Kanji are Chinese characters. Although this is a video about Japanese, we must first establish that kanji are not originally Japanese. They are Chinese. As Japanese lacked a written language, Chinese immigrants at around 500 AD are thought to have brought kanji over to Japan, where it gradually gained prominence. Kanji have meaning. Unlike phonetic scripts, kanji are logographic characters, and as such they each have their own meaning and/or meanings. Here's the word for kanji in kanji. The kanji on the left means Chinese, and the kanji on the right means character, hence Chinese characters. Here's another word, which means Japan. The kanji on the left means sun, and the one on the right means origin. From China's point of view, Japan is further east, i.e. the same direction that the sun rises from, hence land of the rising sun. Just for clarification, kanji don't necessarily only have one meaning. For example, the kanji for sun also has the meaning of day, as in day of the week, whereas the kanji for origin also carries the meaning of book, or present, as in the present day. Kanji have readings. In addition to meaning, kanji also have readings, as in ways to pronounce them. And yes, I said readings. Plural. Not just one, sadly. Anyways, the kanji for Japan are read as Nihon. As to how this works, well, there are two kinds of readings that kanji have. Onyomi and kunyomi, referred to as Chinese and Japanese readings respectively. But what does that mean? Onyomi. Well, as we talked about earlier, kanji originated in China, and not only did the characters originate in China, but the sounds initially tied to those characters also originated in China. This is to say, when Japan began adopting the use of kanji, they also began adopting the pronunciation of kanji as well. For example, the kanji for mountain in Chinese is pronounced as shan, which to Japanese ears sounded like sun, and thus the onyomi for the kanji mountain became san kunyomi. Japanese already had its own word for mountain, which was yama. So this version of the word was simply stapled onto the borrowed kanji. Some of you might be wondering, what is the point of having thousands of characters if you're just going to give them multiple readings? That's a good question. There are patterns to read kanji. When a kanji is by itself, meaning that there are no kanji directly beside it, you usually use the kunyomi reading of the kanji. For example, if you see the character, and there are no other kanji around it, it is read as yama. When a kanji is paired with another kanji, meaning that there are two kanji directly beside each other, you usually use the onyomi reading. The word sancho, meaning summit, contains the kanji for mountain, using the onyomi reading sun. There is a correct way to write kanji, stroke order. Now I hope you didn't think that you can just write kanji in any way you want. Kanji demand order, consistency, and balance. Kanji are made up of a series of strokes or continuous lines, and there is an order in which every character must be written. Joyo kanji. How many kanji are there? Well, the Joyo kanji are a set of 2,136 kanji that are the standard for use in government papers, newspapers, news broadcasts, etc. Are there more kanji? Well, we'll get back to that question. Japanese is easy, right? Kanji have kanji, radicals. Kanji are made up of smaller pieces and sometimes smaller kanji. These pieces are called radicals. Depending on where the pieces are located in a kanji, they can give you different hints as to the reading or meaning of a kanji. Here's a quick look at some of the different names for radicals depending on the position within a kanji. Let's take the following character for example. The right-hand radical of the kanji, the tsukuri, usually gives you a hint at the reading of the kanji. In this case, the onyomi for the radical is ji. The left part of the kanji, the hen, usually gives you a hint at the meaning. In this case, the meaning for this radical is hand. So if we take these two characters, then we can guess that this kanji's meaning has something to do with hands, and that the onyomi reading of this kanji is most likely ji. There is no correct way to write kanji. Although there was a stroke order guideline meant to help with educational instruction that was introduced in 1958, there is no official list of what constitutes correct stroke order. Many kanji, such as these, have more than one commonly used stroke order. With that said, here are some general stroke order rules. Fruits and animals. Great job on memorizing 2,136 Joyo kanji. That must have taken a long time. With this newfound knowledge, I hope you don't intend on reading anything about fruits and animals. Because lucky for you, many if not most fruits and or animals have kanji radicals and or radical combinations that you don't find anywhere else in Japanese. Now with some animal species, such as fish, you can at least identify them by spotting a character such as this one, which means fish. Sadly, it turns out not only do other animals exist, but many of them don't have a real way for you to identify what they could possibly mean. Now, the only reason I don't find this incredibly frustrating is that most of the time they are written in katakana, a phonetic writing script, and this is used when writing out the names of fruits and animals. There is more than one way to write kanji. Calligraphy. I hope you didn't think we were done talking about writing kanji, because we're not. You've seen calligraphy before. Isn't it so cool? Look how cool this is. Which, I totally agree. Until you actually want to read Japanese, you know, for meaning. Not only does calligraphy have many different stylings which vary heavily in clarity, but because everyone thinks that they are cool, they actually tend to be used quite a lot, especially in a fairly small niche genre which I like to call the shonen battle action anime genre. I'm over here just chilling watching Jujutsu Kaisen, as I do, and then BAM! Now, I'm normally not a fan of kanji soup, but doubly so when it's all in calligraphy. And don't think you can use an OCR to help you, because you're basically pairing up an OCR against its worst enemy, distorted captcha text. Now, as to what you do if you find yourself in a situation when you can't read the name of a store, anime, or manga text as a result of calligraphy? I don't know. Too many readings. Just one quick question. When you went about memorizing all the Joyo kanji, you made sure to memorize each kanji's respective kunyomi and onyomi reading, right? Here's why I must tell you that once again you missed a spot. Let's take a look at one of my favorite kanji. This kanji has two onyomi readings, se and shou. Now, that's weird, but that's not too bad. What about the kunyomi? Well, that's easy. You just have ikiru, ikasu, ikeru, umareru, umu, o, haeru, hayasu, ki, and nama. Yeah. As to why there are so many different readings, well, that's a matter of time, place, and convenience. Many kanji have multiple onyomi readings because of the usage of kanji that spread from different regions of China that had different pronunciations. For the kunyomi, all these variants can be attributed to factors such as the natural changes in the language over time, or new readings being ascribed to a kanji for various different historical reasons. Luckily, most kanji only have about one or two onyomi and kunyomi readings, but as you can tell by the frustration meter, this is something that can drive me crazy, as nothing is more frustrating than feeling like an idiot for not being able to read a kanji that you learned in Japanese 101. Kanji don't have meaning. As many of you know at this point, I'm American, and as you know, all Americans are known for their love of rice. Well, at least that's what you'd get from reading its kanji, Beikoku, literally meaning rice country. Kanji, for historical reasons, such as borrowing readings and meanings from China, or for practical reasons, such as text-to-space efficiency, will have their meaning completely disregarded. In the case of America, the following kanji were used for their phonetics, and pronounced Meriken, as in American. The me later became be, and was paired with the kanji for country, to become Beikoku, meaning America. Similarly, France, known for its staunch Buddhism, is sometimes abbreviated with the kanji for Buddhism as a result of this character's previous phonetic spelling of France using kanji. Kanji don't have readings. Hopefully I didn't give you the impression that you can rely on the kanji readings that you meticulously memorize to read kanji, because you can't. Just as you can choose to use kanji for their reading and not their meaning, you can also choose to use kanji for their meaning and not their reading. These two kanji, sometimes read as bakushu, meaning barley alcohol, i.e. beer, can be read as biru. Similarly, these two kanji, sometimes read as enso, meaning smoke grass, i.e. tobacco, can be read as tabako. Trust no one. There are no patterns to reading kanji. Even in a world where you aren't being tricked by blatant kanji shenanigans, you still have to worry about exceptions. Remember our rule about reading the kunyomi of kanji when they are by themselves and the onyomi when they are paired with another kanji? Well, shame on you for not expecting exceptions. Many kanji just don't. As to why? Well, it depends on the specific situation. Many words and phrases that are commonly written without exclusively kanji are written exclusively with kanji for space efficiency. For example, many signs or online buttons are filled with these misleading kanji pairs. This can lead to situations where you know all the onyomi and kunyomi readings of a given kanji pair and you still come off like an idiot because you read the word tachi-iri, meaning to enter, as ritsunyu. Furthermore, the pronunciation of kanji pairs, specifically the second kanji in a pair, can change. Well, just because. However, there are no clear rules for when these phonetic shifts occur. Most kanji dictionaries do not list the shifted pronunciations among the characters' readings. But I can tell that you are stubborn. You memorized an entire dictionary with every single kanji, and you're confident you will never misread a kanji again. Well, that's still not good enough. Sometimes the kanji reading is determined by RNG. You just have to know what the writer intended. This kanji pair, meaning woman, can be read as joshi. It can also be read as onago. They are written the exact same way. This kanji, meaning body, can be read as karada or shintai. They are written the exact same way. Now, if you've read enough Japanese, you'll know that the onago reading of this kanji pair is used in older Japanese, and the shintai reading of this kanji pair can also carry more abstract meanings of body, extending to concepts such as mind and soul. But if an author didn't write down the specific reading they had in mind, then it's up to you to guess. Seriously. Old kanji. Yeah, you know the drill. More kanji. Before the Joyo kanji, there were the Toyo kanji. A list of 1,850 characters made the government standard in 1946. Many of these characters were later simplified and reintroduced as Joyo kanji. The annoying thing about Toyo kanji is that although they aren't the current norm, they still show up in a decent amount of situations. So like, did you have fun memorizing all the kanji? Do you want to do it again? Another fun thing about old kanji is that sometimes the meanings of the kanji aren't the same as the modern versions. They are a teeny bit different. For example, this kanji means to laugh. This kanji also means to laugh. And this kanji also means to laugh. And this kanji also means to laugh. This is just more of a demeaning laugh, like a sneer. This one is more of a snicker or a grin. And this one is more of a hearty vocalized laugh. Ha ha. Kira kira name. Disregarding the readings and meaning of a kanji isn't just restricted to country names, but also to the names of people. Kira kira name, literally meaning sparkly names, are names of real people, commonly based on pop culture. Here are 3 kira kira boy names and 3 kira kira girl names. Mewtwo, Pikachu, Gundam, Ariel, Mini, Ponyo. Japanese is possible, right? Names, in general. You may be wondering why names are so far down in this iceberg. Everyone has a name. What could possibly be obscure about names? Well, names are here because no matter how much Japanese you know, you will never, ever, not in 1,000 years, be able to confidently read someone's name. Although there are some general patterns to reading names, such as kanji and names usually taking kunyomi readings, in all good faith, I can't say there's any real pattern worth remembering. Not only do many names use many kanji outside of the Joyo kanji, but even the kanji you are familiar with have readings that are only used in kanji. Remember this kanji that we talked about earlier? Well, when you include name readings, this kanji goes from having around 12 readings to having over 100. Over 100! And the worst part about it is that you always refer to people by name in Japanese. You don't use you don't use he or she, you use the person's name. And as you would expect, unless you have a very old traditional Japanese name, you're going to have a very difficult time guessing how someone spells their name based on its pronunciation. Which is why it's commonplace to introduce your name followed by an explanation of what kanji your name uses. Now, fair enough. When it comes to speaking, this system sort of works, but for some reason, despite the multiple unique readings and kanjis most people use in their names, most times the names of people are written, whether it be in a newspaper or a novel, the readings of their name aren't provided. You just have to guess. The most common thing in any language, and at best, you're working with an educated guess. And it's not just me who has problems with reading kanji. I've had Japanese professors who have told me things like, yeah, I just normally make a guess and roll with it, or just skip names, they are too hard. Or, no one reads my name correctly. It is very common for school teachers to complain about this problem in Japan, because they are on the front line of bad parenting decisions. I would rather try to shoot for a perfect score in the MCAT as a non-med student than I would want to try to get a non-failing grade trying to read out the credits of a movie. Name standardization. Now, it's not just me and teachers who have a problem with names, it's also the Japanese government. On March 7th, 2023, a change was made to a family registration law, such that the readings of names need to be provided for newborns. If a child's name has a meaning contrary to the kanji used and/or an unclear reading or meaning, then the name will not be approved starting in 2024. And I can't say I don't know where they are coming from. There is more than one way to write kanji. Again, shoke moji, hieroglyphics. And you thought we were done talking about ways to write kanji. No. Hieroglyphics. Just like calligraphy, everyone loves them. And kanji have their own version of them. Wow, that's so cool! You can see how the kanji for hand developed into what it is today. You might be wondering why it seems like I'm mad at the past. Well, if the past stayed in the past, I would have no problem. But the thing is that hieroglyphic kanji are sometimes used nowadays because of how cool they look. And, well, dang, they do look pretty cool, but I mean, ultimately the usage is uncommon enough, and even in times when hieroglyphic kanji are used, it's more so hieroglyphic inspired kanji as opposed to real hieroglyphic kanji, like in the words for Jujutsu Kaisen. So I can't really say that I dislike them too much. Kanji don't have reading nor meaning. So, we've discussed how sometimes kanji have readings and disregard their meaning, and how sometimes they have meaning and disregard their readings. But sometimes, literally everything is disregarded and you just have an inside joke from way back in the day for the basis of a kanji. My favorite example being ahodori, meaning albatross. But there is no way that you could know that this word means albatross because the actual literal meaning is idiot bird. And no, none of the kanji carry any of the reading ahodori. The meanings of the kanji also don't mean idiot bird. The meanings of the kanji are faith, sky, and old man. The joke is, the albatrosses do nothing but look up at the sky and have faith that food will come. And then just to further degrade the bird, the old man part is comparing the white feathers of an albatross to that of hairs of an old man. Like, what did albatrosses do to deserve that? Simple kanji aren't simple. Now, this spot is dedicated to a kanji that makes me feel like an idiot to this day. Reminding me that regardless of how long I study, I'll be tripping over myself on 101 kanji. As I said, most kanji follow a pattern, so that when you see them, you generally feel confident when reading them. And there are other kanji, like the kanji for big, which will trick you into thinking there is a pattern, and then BAM! You get hit by an exception case. And then another, and then another, and then another, until you have fight or flight reaction every time you see the character. Is it dai? Is it tai? Is it o? I will never know. I just know that whatever I choose, it'll be wrong. Kanji aren't Chinese characters. Now, I don't want you thinking you can come out of this making some definitive statement about kanji in any way. Kanji don't like that. And although kanji certainly did originate in China, that didn't stop Japan from introducing kokuji, Japanese original kanji, which this one is one of, by the way. And in addition to kokuji, there are wase kango, Japanese words that use kanji morphemes, as well as ryakuji, which are Japanese only simplifications of kanji. Here are some fairly common kanji that are kokuji. Difficulty is the point. Before diving down into the final layer, it is my honor to present you Yojijikugo, meaning 4-character compound words, a perfect embodiment of everything wrong with kanji. Yojijikugo are simply phrases or expressions that are represented with 4 characters. What is so bad about that? Well, let's go through some. Fukarozui, coming from the names of the flowers that bloom but bear no fruit, meaning a useless and or ordinary object. Shinso zetsuken, the kanji meaning spear-like lips and sword-like tongue, meaning a harsh critique. Teisoka, the kanji referring to 2 locations within the spring and autumn period of China, which apparently had particularly terrible music. As this word means, music that is so vile and lewd that it could single-handedly lead to societal collapse. Which, not gonna lie, is actually kind of funny. Yojijikugo basically exist only to flex your Japanese knowledge, as they almost always use obscure kanji and almost always require a deep dive into history before you can contextualize and understand their meaning. And there are thousands of them. In fact, there are dictionaries dedicated to them. And even if by some chance you're able to correctly read the kanji of a Yojijikugo, and you know the meaning of all the kanji used beforehand, you are still guaranteed that you're gonna have to pick up a dictionary. There is more than one way to write kanji. Again, again, again. Cursive kanji. If you thought calligraphy or hieroglyphics were too easy to read, then let me introduce you to kanji, but in cursive. Yes, seriously. There's no fast way to get a reality check about how bad you are at reading kanji even if you're an advanced learner, than to try reading cursive Japanese. And if there are any native speakers of Japanese, feel free to try for yourself. Here you go. If you were able to identify like just one kanji, then, you know, I count that as a win. Silent kanji. I'm sure many of you are familiar with silent letters. You know some characters are written but not pronounced, such as the K in night? Well, Japanese has those too. This word is goemon. Here's the go, here's the e, and here's the mon. What is going on with this character? Well, it used to be read, but its old pronunciation with the sound ue was too difficult, so it disappeared. Or kaze versus kaze. One meaning wind, the other meaning cold, as in a sickness. Why isn't the right kanji pronounced? Well, in short, it used to be, and the word is pronounced fuja. But over time, the words began to share the same pronunciation due to an overlap in two different illnesses, both caused by the wind. Or so they thought. Invisible characters. And on the other end of things, you've kanji that have sounds that, well, just aren't there. Here's the name Inoue. Here's the I, here's the ue. The no. Where's the no? Who stole the no? And here's the word yamanote. Here's the yama, and here's the te. And where's the no? Who is stealing all these no's? When it comes to the name, apparently it says to do something the origin of how kanji were borrowed from China. And now you could read the no sound even if the kanji weren't present. But I don't really know. And with the Yamanote example, the famous train line in Tokyo, apparently it was originally read as Yamanote, and then it was changed back, and then it was changed back again so that it doesn't overlap with another train of the same name or another line. And here's the thing, with all these crazy kanji examples and exceptions, there's always a reason that they exist, but my god, is there never a good reason. It just hurts. I borderline just thought I had dyslexia when I first encountered the Yamanote line and couldn't find the no. Why kanji? Why? How many kanji are there? So, how many kanji are there? Well, we know there are 2,136 Joyo kanji, but as we know, there are actually many more. Whether it be name kanji or old kanji or hyogai kanji refers to another set of over 1,000 kanji outside the Joyo kanji, and presumably the most educated of scholars know somewhere around the 6,000 mark in terms of kanji. So, is that good enough? If you know 6,000 kanji, all of their readings, all of their niche use cases, will you then be able to say that you know all of the kanji? No. You'll be able to say that you know around 13% of the kanji, as there are over 80,000 kanji. 80,000! Now most of these are obviously not in modern circulation, but knowing that no matter how hard you try, no matter if you're a Japanese professor at the top of your field, at the end of the day, we all suck at kanji. And isn't there something poetic about that? Kanji ban history. I'm not the first person, nor will I be the last, to lament the problems with kanji. There have been anti-kanji movements dating back to the Edo period, as well as multiple pushes for simplification and the eradication of the difficult parts of kanji in the late 1800s and early 1900s. Kanji has been criticized for being difficult to learn, reinforcing social and economic class differences, reinforcing generational differences, being difficult for people with disabilities, preventing the globalization of Japanese, leading to difficult to read Japanese place names, as well as the aforementioned hirakira name problem. And I could go on. The various movements to try to fix or eliminate kanji probably deserve a whole video to themselves. Final thoughts. But as we can see, kanji is still here, and I'm not happy about it. But I'm not sure what else there is to do. If we were to ban kanji and then katakana as well, because I hate that, well, then we'd just be left with hiragana, and, well, that's not a reality that I want to live in. But don't let kanji let you down. Remember, at the end of the day, I suck at kanji. You suck at kanji. We all suck at kanji. Subscribe, please.